Right now at 6, authorities investigate the cause of a fire that burned a former industrial complex in Lamar, Missouri.
And it's 4th of July, but we have a few forecasts in store for you.
Plus, as vacationers head out to lakes and rivers, we have advice from experts on keeping you and your family safe on the waterways.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I am Lindsay Gaffney, and it is surely 6 a.m. I mean, I'm not fully awake yet. How about you?
I'm starting to wake up. I'm just getting really excited about the 4th of July. I don't know about you.
I am too, but we do have some storms that we could be dodging today. And that's something I think people need to be aware of, especially, we're wanting to be outside, we're wanting to celebrate and shoot off fireworks, and we want to make sure that the rain doesn't put out those fireworks before we get the chance to see them in the sky. So as we're going through the day, temperatures are going to start to warm up into the upper 80s, but right when we get to the high part of the day, the hottest part of the day, is when we're going to start to see those thunderstorm chances popping up. Now, these are very isolated thunderstorms as they move through the area. They're not widespread, so a lot of us may not even see rain at all today. It's going to be clear skies for the whole way, smooth sailing all day today. But temperatures right now in the upper 60s, low 70s. You can see we've got a gorgeous sunrise going on out there right now. Very far off in the distance, some clouds, but overall in our area, clear skies. Now you can see clear skies here. We've got those clouds that are pushing in over the next couple of hours, but we also have fog that we're dealing with right now this morning. Now in some areas, fog's dropping down to less than half-mile visibility. Fort Scott, Chanute, Parsons, even at the Independence. Now, as we make it through mid-morning hours, the fog does start to isolate, but in those processes, they're going to see more dense fog in some of these areas. But by about 9 a.m., cleared out completely, so we're looking good for the morning. Now, let's switch over to those thunderstorm chances. We've got our fog, as you can see, as we head through the morning. Most of the day, clear skies. By 12:30, here's our first little isolated thunderstorm that pops up. Again, they're very small, very short-lived thunderstorms. So that's going to push really quickly up to the Joplin area by about 2 p.m., clearing out of Joplin by about 2:30. Now near Oswego, Columbus, or just to the west of there, we've got another little pop-up shower. Bentonville is getting quite a few of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now those continue to push north. You can see Parsons getting some as well. Another round going into the Joplin area, maybe into Cassville as well. This is 4:30. And then later in the afternoon and evening by about 7:30, we're mostly seeing clear skies. So it's looking pretty good, but we do have additional rain chances. As you can see, these thunderstorms that are going to be moving in on Saturday. So I'll have all those details coming up.
Lindsay, thanks. The Missouri State Fire Marshal's office yesterday evening is investigating 2 unrelated incidents in southwest Missouri, a big industrial fire in Lamar and an explosion in Joplin. We start with the explosion that rocked a Joplin neighborhood yesterday afternoon and sent at least 2 people to the hospital. The blast tore through a shed in the backyard of a home in the 2500 block of South Virginia Avenue around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Neighbors say the force shook windows up to 2 blocks away. 47-year-old Justin Rakin was rushed to the hospital where he later died due to his injuries. A juvenile female also sustained injuries and is currently listed in stable condition. Investigators from both JPD and the State Fire Marshal's office have been talking with neighbors, trying to gather information. State investigators are also looking into an overnight fire at the building of the former O'Sullivan Industrial Complex in Lamar, Missouri. KOAM's Anthony Saviello was there and reports on what's now considered a criminal investigation.
You can see smoke and flames still coming out of the structure behind me. What used to be known as the O'Sullivan building is now in ruins. Smoke billowing out hundreds of feet into the air and fire still consuming this structure. We spoke to City Administrator Rusty Rives, and he tells us more about the criminal investigation ongoing into the cause of this fire.
Currently, the Missouri State Fire Marshal's Office and the Lamar Police Department are investigating any criminal activity that may have taken place. My understanding is, as of this morning, they do have 2 individuals detained for questioning. I have not received an update on their status.
Now, this building has a lot of history to it. And many businesses and companies were actually using this building for storage and warehousing. Much of the material inside was fiberglass material, is what we have been told. Now, we actually spoke to a gentleman who works here at the warehouse, and he was here when the fire broke out, and he tells us what exactly was going through his mind at that point in time.
In that moment, I'm a dad. These are my guys, you know. I've been with them for forever, and you know, I didn't want anything to happen to them. So my first instinct, you know, I guess my dad instincts kicked in. I was making sure I wanted to protect anybody I could, even if that meant, you know, risking my life or anything, or, you know, I just wanted to make sure everyone was safe. And you know, because like I said, you know, this can be rebuilt.
Now, as of right now, we have no real further updates into the investigation into this fire, but it is important to note that anyone who is coming through this area just needs to stay safe and stay cautious. This is still an active crime scene, and the structure is still burning. In Lamar, Missouri, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Law enforcement has not released any further information in regards to the criminal investigation. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Missouri Highway Patrol reports that a Wentzville, Missouri man drowned Wednesday evening at the Lake of the Ozarks. This is file footage of the lake. Troopers say 70-year-old man fell overboard from his bass boat at the 8-mile mark of the Workman Hollow Cove. They say a bystander pulled the man from the water, but authorities pronounced him dead at the scene. Well, next of kin have been notified. Authorities have not publicly released the man's name. The Army Corps of Engineers and safety patrols predict packed lakes around the Ozarks and Arkansas through Sunday. Many of you will be heading to the water this holiday weekend, but there are things you can do to safely have fun. For starters, boaters can reduce their speeds and try to give other boats more room. Be sure you have a designated driver, and remember, everyone on the boat needs a properly fitting life jacket. Groups can also be proactive in staying safe by making an emergency plan that involves everyone on board.
Maybe even have a spotter on your boat letting you know where folks are. Table Rock, Beaver, Bull Shoals, all those lakes are going to be very packed. And they've all got high water right now too, so there is some debris floating around. So slow down even just a little bit more and watch out for that floating debris and watch out for each other.
A few other safety precautions: check the weather consistently while boating and make sure all lights on your boat work. Kansas is making some changes to its put the phone down law. One change is drivers under 18 are now completely prohibited from holding or using a mobile phone while driving. There are fines in place for violations, especially for infractions in construction zones. That fine is automatic. What remains unchanged under the law is all drivers are still banned from reading, writing, or sending text messages while the vehicle is in motion. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The U.S. economy added a stronger than expected 147,000 jobs for the month of June. Plus today, President Trump will sign a major spending bill and talk with Ukraine's leader about the ongoing war. And we'll have a hot and mostly sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, employment seekers have plenty of options. The U.S. economy added 147,000 jobs last month, according to the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's higher than many economists had forecast, and it's a slight bump from the 144,000 gained during the month of May. The national unemployment rate in June also fell 0.1% to 4.1%. Later today, President Donald Trump is expected to mark this 4th of July by signing the massive spending bill Congress passed yesterday. But first, he plans to speak with the president of Ukraine in a push to bring an end to the more than 3-year-old Russia-Ukraine war. President Trump says he was, quote, very disappointed after a call with Russia's president yesterday. Chapman Bell has more from London.
Fresh off celebrating his big domestic policy win,
Congress passed the one big, beautiful bill to make America great again.
President Trump is now turning his focus to ending the Russia-Ukraine war. The president says he'll speak with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky today.
We count on continuation of American support.
Zelensky has said he wants to discuss the White House's pause on some weapons shipments to Ukraine.
We've given so many weapons, but we are giving weapons, and we're working with them and trying to help them.
Their call comes a day after President Trump said he didn't make any progress in a push for a ceasefire during a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday.
I don't think he's there, and I'm very disappointed. I don't think he's looking to stop.
Overnight, Ukraine said it was hit by a barrage of Russian drones and missiles, a day after Russia said a Ukrainian strike killed a top Navy commander. After the Trump call, a Putin spokesman said the Russian leader is willing to continue talks toward a political solution, but he will not back down from his objectives in the conflict. The Kremlin said the two also discussed Iran. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the U.S. bombed 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Yesterday, the president signaled he's open to restarting talks with Iran. Chapman Bell, CBS News.
President Trump says letters will be sent to 10 to 12 countries today, informing them of the tariffs they could soon face on goods they send to the U.S. The president's pause on his so-called reciprocal tariffs is set to expire next week. Still to come, a new study reveals that teen drivers are more likely to be distracted on their phones while driving. Plus, Lindsay Gaffney returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. One piglet is no longer going to the market and now has a second chance of life in Lawrence, Kansas. The swine was on its way to a slaughterhouse when it jumped from the back of a moving truck. Dorissa White introduces us to Gilbert.
This little guy isn't just a fighter, he is also a jumper. And now he said, wee, 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 all the way home. The truck was headed to a slaughter facility last week, carrying a load of livestock, but one small piglet had other plans. The little piggy made a dash for a second chance at life and jumped off the moving truck, landing snout first.
We did x-rays, and luckily we did not see any fractures. It turns out that he did injure his jaw and his neck.
Alina Ultraman said someone behind the truck saw the jump and grabbed the pig, now named Gilbert, and took him straight to the Lawrence Humane Society.
This is something that happens. It happens, fairly regularly with piglets ending up on the highway.
After he received medical care, they called the Kansas City Pig Rescue Network, who took him in immediately.
We are always happy to get a jumper. Because we know that this is one less piglet that's going to end up in a slaughterhouse and on someone's plate. So he's going to get to live out his life with a family that loves him and treats him just like a pet, because that's what they are to us.
Whether it's highway or his forever home, Gilbert made it clear he is not going to the market.
The Lawrence Humane Society says Gilbert is the 5th pig they've taken in the last 2 years. Now here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, temperatures warming up to the mid 80s today to upper 80s, hitting about 89 to 90 degrees. We've got isolated pop-up thunderstorm chances. It adds to our humidity, so our heat index value, even though temperatures are only getting up to the upper 80s, it's going to feel like mid to low 90s, 93 in Joplin by 1:30, 93 in Miami, and 90 in Fredonia. Then heading into 4:35 p.m. this afternoon, 95 in Girard, Pittsburgh, Baxter, Springs. So it's going to feel a bit warmer than the actual temperatures. We have those pop-up thunderstorms today. Again, very isolated, not long-lived. But as we head into Saturday, we're going to get more widespread scattered thunderstorm chances through the mid-morning hours and then again Saturday night into Sunday morning. Well, today is the 4th of July and everyone wants to get out and celebrate, but what's our weather looking like? So we've got thunderstorm chances, just random pop-up thunderstorms throughout the afternoon hours. Those are normal during the summertime, but we hate to see them on a holiday. Now, outside of the thunderstorms, temperatures are warming up into the upper 80s. So overall, it's going to be a pretty nice day today. However, with those thunderstorms that are in the area, it's going to drive our humidity up. So relative humidity goes from mid 50% range to the 70s and even up to 80% for the rest of the afternoon, right when these thunderstorms want to start. So it's just adding a lot of moisture to the atmosphere as we go through the afternoon. So this is 4:30. We're seeing relative humidity values well over 60% for most of the afternoon. It's going to be pretty muggy if you're not getting any rain. Now, outside of that, starting this morning, it's clear skies. We do have those clouds moving in, and you can see we have no threat for severe weather. So even though we're getting thunderstorm chances, severe weather out to the western parts of Kansas. So we're looking good, even with thunderstorm chances. Now taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, we've got clear skies, a few off the distance clouds, but other than that, I mean, it's a gorgeous start to our morning. Temperatures are going in the upper 60s, low 70s, so a little cooler to start. And we have a light breeze. Now, winds do pick up in the afternoon along with some of these thunderstorm chances. So you want to watch that as you're shooting off fireworks. You don't want any loose sparks going anywhere. But then those thunderstorm chances start around 1 to 2 p.m. As we're heading into the rest of the weekend, you can see temperatures are going to be returning into the upper 80s, so that's about the same, but we have more widespread scattered thunderstorm chances on Saturday, and then we're back to those pop-up thunderstorm chances on Sunday. So let's go through today and the rest of the weekend forecast. Like I said, this afternoon we've got these random pop-up thunderstorms, no threat for severe weather, and they're super short-lived, so we're not going to get downpours of rain going on for hours, maybe 30 minutes. So that's what we get in the summertime, and you can see where just random thunderstorms are popping up. Those continue to move up to the north as we get into Saturday morning. So this is 4 a.m. We've got our first little round of rain that's going to be pushing through the area, and then we have our actual thunderstorms that move through, and this is where we could see a little bit stronger storms. As of right now, we do not have a severe threat for these storms, but we've got a little risk for some strong winds. Right now, 30-40 mile per hour wind gusts. That's staying below severe limits, but it's something that we're going to want to watch. Now, those will come in by mid-morning and then still moving through the area by 12:30 to 1 p.m., starting to push into the Missouri side, but definitely seeing some thunderstorms southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. Those will continue to push south of I-44 by about 3 to 3:30, and then out of our area. Overnight Saturday looking gorgeous, so if you want to shoot more fireworks off on Saturday night, you'll have your chance because it's still going to be sunny skies and clear skies for the evening. Now, clouds return by about 1:32 a.m. A few more overnight thunderstorms, nothing to be too concerned about. And then we return with those pop-up thunderstorms on Sunday. Now, rain amounts today, like I said, not long-lived thunderstorms, so we're not getting a lot of rain accumulation. Through Saturday, we could see 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch of rain, but we're not quite out of the thunderstorm chances yet. We've got pop-up thunderstorms or random storms continuing all the way through next Wednesday. That's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Sam with Health Watch.
Thanks, Lindsay. A group of doctors and veterinarians warn the idea proposed by the Trump administration to allow the bird flu to spread is dangerous and unethical. In a letter published by the American Association for the Advancement of Science, doctors say if we don't stop the spread of avian flu, the virus could evolve, kill hundreds of millions of birds, and cost the U.S. billions. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy has suggested it's better to allow the virus to spread in order to identify birds that are naturally resistant. A new study shows Black people who go to the ER for opioid overdoses can sometimes receive different treatment than white people. Researchers published in JAMA found around 10% of white patients who went to the ER for overdoses were referred for outpatient treatment. Only about 6% of Black patients got the same referral. For people with opioid use disorders, access to addiction care and medication can save lives. Teen drivers spend more than 20% of their time behind the wheel, looking at their phones. In a survey by Mass General Brigham, many teens admitted that they were glancing at their phones for 2 seconds or longer, often to watch videos or read texts. Distracted driving can significantly increase the chances of a crash. If you plan to launch your own fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July tonight, a warning. Doctors say consider grabbing a pair of goggles to protect your eyes. CBS's Jared Hill has the story of how one woman's life was changed forever after lighting a firework at home a few years ago.
Lisa Dickerson sees the world much differently this 4th of July after a fireworks mishap about 5 years ago.
It can go bad really quick.
The mom was shooting bottle rockets with her family, but one malfunctioned, causing the others to tip over.
I actually thought it was done, and there was still one left on the ground that was on its side. So when I went to turn around, the last one came and hit me right in the face, right in the eye.
Despite multiple surgeries, Lisa lost vision in her right eye.
I can't see anything over here.
She developed a significant scarring on the surface of her eye to the point that she can't see through the eye anymore and is severely disfigured.
Dr. Aaron Shriver is one of the ophthalmologists who treated Lisa. A 2022 study by the University of Iowa Healthcare found there was a 4-fold increase in firework-related eye injuries in the years after they were legalized in Iowa in 2017.
After that first 4th of July, we actually had to call in residents who were on vacation. And we had a all hands on deck. Anyone who's in town, if you're on vacation or you're just in town, can you please come in because we need help in the emergency room.
Her tips to protect your eyes: keep a bucket of water and a fire extinguisher around. Also, be careful when investigating fireworks that don't go off. Wait at least 20 minutes, then soak the faulty firework in water for at least another 20 minutes before throwing it away. Finally, consider wearing protective goggles.
Even if you are careful, you can it's still a risk. It's a firework.
Lisa's more cautious since her incident and hopes others see her story and stay safe. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Approximately 15% of all firework-related injuries affect the eyes, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the Byers Avenue United Methodist Church is helping to sweeten your day and support local organizations at the same time.
And we have possible thunderstorms to rain on the parade today. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, some area fireworks stands hope holiday business will light a fire under the spirit of giving.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:32. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And we're celebrating a really happy 4th of July. I know I have some plans going on. I don't know if you have any fun 4th of July plans?
Just watching the fireworks. Luckily, I think my dogs are not too scared of fireworks this year. So it's been pretty good. No panicking, no panting from the dogs. So that's always peaceful. But I know you want to watch out for that. I know we've been talking about that for about a week now, 2 weeks, just preparing all of the, dog parents for fireworks and dogs wanting to run away. And not to mention, if you've got a dog that's afraid of fireworks, you might have a dog afraid of thunderstorms, and that's what we're also going to see today. So we've got a lot going on. As we head through the afternoon, temperatures are going to be in the mid-80s, all the way up to the upper 80s. So we're going to be up to about 89 degrees, maybe pushing up to 90. And then we also have isolated thunderstorm chances. So those are going to be hitting the area by early afternoon. But until then, we've got a gorgeous start to the day. You can see clear skies, a beautiful sunrise, temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s. So great, nice looking start. Now we do have clouds that are pushing in. You can see out in southern parts of Oklahoma already seeing some thunderstorms. We're starting off the morning a bit foggy, especially out on our Kansas and Oklahoma side, with visibility dropping down to less than half a mile in certain areas, Independence, Parsons, Chanute, Fort Scott, Welch areas. So we want to keep an eye on that as we go through any morning commute if you do still have to work today. But it all burns off by about 8:30 to 9 a.m. Now, as we continue through the rest of the forecast, we've got thunderstorm chances that are going to be popping up right around 12:30, Bentonville, all the way up to Cassville, moving up the line, Anderson, and into the Joplin region. So this is going to be about 2 p.m. So thunderstorms in Joplin, thunderstorms out near Monette, thunderstorms out in Pineville, just random, very isolated thunderstorms, even moving up to Parsons, just to the west of Columbus, Oswego. Those are quickly moving out of the area, though, so we get about a 30-minute window of getting some of these showers and thunderstorms. Another round coming into the Joplin area, another round going into Parsons. So those just continue to move north. And by about 7 p.m., most of them are out of our area, so we're looking good. A lot of us may not even see any rain today, so it's just going to be very isolated, non-severe chances for rain. But as we head into Saturday, you can see where some thunderstorms start to develop out to the west of us. That could affect us by mid-morning on Saturday, and I'll have those details coming up.
Lindsay, thanks. Quapaw Child Care Development Fund is hosting a creation station for all Quapaw children on the powwow grounds. Each craft is designed to teach a little of Native American heritage. One of the stations concerns planting crops they refer to as the Three Sisters: corn, beans, and squash. They also made sun catchers, Play-Doh crafts, and more. The activities are designed for togetherness.
We try to bring as much as we can into their Native American culture. The Three Sisters is really a major thing that we do. It talks about how the plants grow and how they affect each other. And so it's really important. And we've got some other things that they can do, the beading where the hair pipe beads and stuff like that. So it's just all neat ways for them to just not even realize that they're learning, but we kind of like to call it accidental learning.
The event is part of the Quapaw Powwow happenings this weekend. They say the early bird catches the worm, but at Byers Avenue United Methodist Church, the early birds baked up 400 fresh pies yesterday. Starting at 6 a.m., the church bakers whipped up cherry, pecan, sugar-free apple, lemon meringue, and more for their annual pie sale. You still have time to pre-order and pick up for pies on Saturday. Remember, it's more than just pie. It's a sweet way to give back to the community.
I think it's individual attention to each pie. There's nothing that is made out of a box or anything like that. We make the crust homemade, fillings homemade, and just years of experience in working together.
All proceeds support local nonprofits. While this year's recipients haven't been selected yet, in the past, the church has donated to organizations like One Joplin and Crosslines. For many people, buying fireworks is part of the Independence Day celebrations. And while that may be true, some local fireworks stands say it's more than that. KOAM's Lonnie Walton checked out 2 stands whose owners say they hope the holiday will be a boom for fundraising.
We are back up and running.
Christy Harold operates a fireworks tent at Nevada Speedway. Early this week, the tent was a victim of a huge storm. Now she says things are back in order. She says that's good for local vets who will be working at the tent.
If you're sweating and working to build a new hall for our VFW here in Nevada. 50 to 57 years old is the building that they're congregating in now and meeting in, and so we're a little too small. We're starting to outgrow it.
And she's not the only fireworks stand fighting to support her community. Travis Hurley from Water Gardens Ministries says all proceeds from his fireworks stand will help people get off the streets.
Coming out of addiction and recovery programs, they come into this Forge campus, and then they have an opportunity over the course of 16 to 18 months to kind of set a new trajectory for their life. By the time they graduate, they've got their own place to live, they're off of all government assistance, they're fully employed, they're self-insured.
Hurley says this program really works.
We had 212 folks that came into shelter unemployed that left with jobs.
Both Hurley and Harold want locals to have fun celebrating the holiday, but remember to put others first.
Typically bring in about $10,000 a year because the community supports that, and that helps to make sure that at least one guy gets through the program.
They gave so much, but yeah, they still keep giving. They still keep coming out here.
Reporting in the 4 states, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The Nevada Speedway will also be selling $1 hot dogs today. All proceeds will go directly to local nonprofit organizations. If your 4th of July plans have you staying in the area, but you're looking for something to do, don't worry. We've got you covered. Simply scan this QR code on your screen and head over to KOAMnewsnow.com to check out a list of Independence Day events right here in our area. You can find great food, great live music, great family fun, and plenty of fireworks shows. Celebrate the holiday right here in the 4 states. That's a look at some of our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means Shannon Becker joins us with his big 3 stories of the week. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, it's Friday, so you know what that means. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with us this morning for his 3 big stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. I know you've been very busy the past few days. Some big stories happening in 4 states.
You know, it seemed like a little bit quiet for a moment and then everything all at once. Here it is, our big 3 stories, KOAM News Now. Over the weekend, now this was Saturday, what appears to be a horrible crash, obviously. It started because the driver over in southeast Kansas swerved to miss a turtle near West Mineral. Well, it's not recommended by not only Cherokee County Sheriff's deputies, but also by the Kansas Highway Patrol. That vehicle rolled into the cornfield there. A female driver and her 2 little dogs are okay, amazingly, yeah.
That's great.
And also they did tell me the turtle was all right as well.
Small miracles,
I know, you know, you got to celebrate the small things, but that SUV, goodbye. Our number 2 story, Joplin News First. It was yesterday. It started about 1:30, developing story. An explosion was heard for blocks around an area near 26th and South Main Street. It was an explosion in a shed. We do know that 2 people were transported to a hospital. Both of them lived in the home. Male, late last night we learned, adult male, from Joplin, obviously, 47 years old, died of his injuries. He had been transferred to Springfield. There's a teenager that was also injured of non-life-threatening injuries, is in a Springfield hospital as well. It's a story we'll continue to tell you more about. Last night late, I was there as the Springfield bomb squad arrived, and they were gathering more evidence and items from that area. Our number 1 story, a huge fire overnight. Wednesday into Thursday, the former O'Sullivan Industries burned. Now, from what I understand, about 1.5 million square feet. So it's comparable to 8 Walmart supercenters.
Oh, wow.
10 to 11 acres under one roof. I'm not sure if the entire structure burned, but the majority of it, obviously.
Yes.
I've never seen anything so massive. They do have 2 people detained. Have you heard anything on an update on that yet?
They're still going forward, you know. More details of that criminal investigation are expected.
All right.
But I know that's a story we are tracking and following, and we'll keep you updated as those updates become available.
I was just busy yesterday with other happenings, so I didn't necessarily get to update everything. So they are, of course, continuing that. You can read more, you can see more on our website, KOAM News Now. And then our bonus story of the week, it's the fireworks. Time for fireworks, right? We've got a lot of celebrations happening. In fact, a lot have happened already this week. So let's go down the list. Today, Bentonville, Carthage, Eureka Springs, Grand Lake, that's at Duck Creek, which is a huge one, biggest one in Oklahoma. Joplin, Miami will be at Buffalo Run. Monette, they've moved theirs to the 4th this year. Parsons, Kansas, and our favorite, Pittsburgh. They've got their big one today. Pryor, Oklahoma, Rogers, Arkansas, they've got the Symphony that's playing at the Amp. And of course, the big Joplin one, we've got a map on our website. You can find out more details. You don't want to miss it. It's at MSSC like they do every year.
And those are always so fun and iconic. And, you know, not everybody, you know, wants to set off fireworks themselves. You know, maybe they're like, I don't want to accidentally set myself on fire. Let's have somebody a little bit more trained, more experienced to it. I'll wave a sparkler.
Yeah,
you know?
The sparklers are dangerous, though. I'll tell you that. They're the most dangerous ones. You picked it, not me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Shannon. We'll be right back. Well, it's my favorite part of the day, which means we are celebrating birthdays this morning on KOAM Morning News. First off, we have Caden Banta, 8 years old from Neosho, Missouri. Happy birthday, Cadence.
And then heading over to Crestline, Kansas. Happy 9th birthday to Reagan Hutto.
And then in Columbus, Kansas, Faith Johnson is turning 13. Happy birthday, Faith.
Well, we've got a 81st birthday for Corrine Boken out in Iola, Kansas, and the message says, love you, Auntie.
And then Marlene Cox is turning 82 out of Lamar, Missouri. Happy birthday, Marlene.
Switching gears for a second, we're celebrating a 49th wedding anniversary for Steve and Janet out in Joplin. Congratulations, you guys.
And today we're also celebrating Linda Jeffries out of Columbus, Kansas. Happy birthday, Linda.
And of course, you know that face. That is the weekend anchor and reporter here at KOAM, Anthony Seviello. Now his birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Anthony, from all of us here at KOAM.
Yes, definitely a very happy birthday. Another birthday we're celebrating is Pat McSherry. She's they're turning 66 in Columbus, Kansas. Happy birthday, Pat.
And then out in Erie, Kansas, a happy birthday to Meldon Strickland.
And then also Grayson Kirchner out of Burlington, Kansas is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Grayson. And we want to be sure that we celebrate all of these birthdays with you. So if you want to do that, make sure you send those birthdays and anniversaries to us at that email you can see on the screen. That's birthdays@komnewsnow.com. Now make sure to pay attention to those deadlines as well, because we want to make sure we get those pretty pictures and birthdays and anniversaries in just in time to celebrate you on your special day.
Well, taking a look at our 4th of July forecast, we've got our little fireworks shooting off our temperatures today. So they're going to be in the upper 80s, with our high reaching about 89 to possibly 90 degrees. In some areas might just hit 90. But we also have isolated thunderstorms that are going to be popping up just right afternoon, but for most of the early to mid-afternoon hours. Now, because of those thunderstorms in the area, although they're very isolated, a lot of us will still see those sunny skies, but that humidity sticks around for all of us. So we're in the mid-50s% range for relative humidity in the early afternoon, but as these storms start to fire off, we're going to see humidity drive up to the mid-80s, so it's going to be muggy outside, just really humid as some of these thunderstorms are going off. That continues all the way through the evening. This is now 7 p.m. We're still seeing pretty high humidity rates. Now, currently, we're looking good. We've got clear skies out there. We are seeing clouds that are going to be moving in. You can see them out in Oklahoma, that line right there. Those are going to be moving in, and we've got thunderstorm chances, but non-severe, because you can see where our risk for severe weather is pushed out to western parts of Kansas, not in our area, so we're looking good. Now, taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh, again, those clear skies through most of our morning. I mean, you can see some clouds out in the distance, but overall it is a beautiful start to our day. Just super gorgeous outside. Temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s, so a cooler start, a nice break from the heat that we've been seeing. And then we're going to start to see those rain chances spike right after 12 p.m. and into about 2 p.m. So those are continuing to move through the area through most of the afternoon. And then as we head into the weekend, temperatures remain upper 80s, but more widespread thunderstorm chances are expected on Saturday with some gusty winds. And then on Sunday, those pop-up thunderstorms return to the area. So let's go ahead and look at our future track. We've got winds picking up out of the south, gusting up to 15, even pushing 20 miles per hour. We want to watch that as people shooting off fireworks. We don't want any stray sparks to go awry. But then we also have our isolated thunderstorm chances that are going to continue to move through the area until about 6 to 7 p.m., then clearing out. As we get into Saturday morning, we're starting to see our first chances of rain pushing in from the west into southeastern Kansas, but our thunderstorm chances actually holding off until mid-morning. Now here comes that round of thunderstorms that we're expecting mid-morning until early afternoon, with a gust front that could gust winds up to 40 miles per hour. That's below severe limits, so we're not expecting this to be severe, but we want to watch it. Now those are going to continue to push south into southeastern Kansas, into Oklahoma. You can see out near Bartlesville, that's where we can see some stronger parts of the storm, but it'll continue to move through our area and weaken by early afternoon. Once it gets past south of I-44, mostly just some scattered shower chances. The rest of the evening, clear skies. So if you want to really celebrate the 4th of July again tomorrow on the 5th, you'll get your chance. And then we also have just isolated thunderstorm chances returning on Sunday. Now we're not expecting any accumulation today with some of these thunderstorms, but we will on Saturday. Pop-up thunderstorm and random storm chances continue all the way through midweek next week, with temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. Now that's a look at your forecast. Coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches on over to Fox 14, we'll hear the history of how your favorite iconic 4th of July foods.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Missouri State Fire Marshal's office is investigating an explosion that rocked a Joplin neighborhood yesterday afternoon. and sent at least 2 people to the hospital. The blast tore through a shed in the backyard of a home in the 2500 block of South Virginia Avenue around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Neighbors say the force shook windows up to 2 blocks away. 47-year-old Justin Rankin was rushed to the hospital where he later died due to his injuries. A juvenile female also sustained injuries and is currently listed in stable condition. The Missouri Highway Patrol reports that a Wentzville, Missouri man drowned Wednesday evening at Lake of the Ozarks. Troopers say the 70-year-old man fell overboard from his bass boat at the 8-mile mark of Workman Hollow Cove. They say a bystander pulled the man from the water, but authorities pronounced him dead at the scene. While next of kin have been notified, authorities have not publicly released the man's name. The Army Corps of Engineers and safety patrols predict packed lakes around the Ozarks in Arkansas through Sunday, and we have some safety tips before you head out on the waters. Boaters should reduce their speeds and try to give other boats more room. Be sure you have a designated driver, and remember everyone on the boat needs a properly fitting life jacket. Groups can also be proactive in staying safe by making an emergency plan that involves everyone on board. Officials say check the weather consistently while boating and make sure all lights on your boat work. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got just thunderstorm chances consistently all the way through midweek next week.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making firecracker burgers in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, a great way to celebrate the 4th of July.
Yes, it is. And your morning news continues on KOEM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a church in Joplin draws visitors with a sweet tooth out to an annual fundraiser.
Plus, Shannon Becker joins us back in the studio to talk about his big 3 news stories of the week. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.